Hi, this is Doug at Wood Spun Round. So glad to have you with me today. Um, Got an interesting project here. I was asked to show this. I was talking about turning a bunch of plates for an upcoming show and asked to show by process, especially this glue block idea. I'm going to show you that part in real time. What I've got here is a piece of cedar. This is a board. It was about 11 inches, roughly 11 inches wide, and we cut it in 11-inch lengths. As far as the board was good, there was a bad end on it, so we scrapped that part. But as you can see there, I measured out the glue block, made sure it was in the center, drew a circle around it. Now I'm going to put some medium CA glue, and that's what I'm showing you there. Use medium grade CA and put it inside that circle area. I kind of experimented with these. I did a lot, I did a little. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to completely cover it by any means. Then I'm going to spray the accelerator on the glue block. This glue block has been turned to the right size and shape to fit into the jaws that are on the chuck there. Give it one little press, counted to 10 maybe. Then I'm going to get myself together. I'm going to get things off the lathe that don't need to be on the lathe. I'm going to get my smock on. A couple other little small things. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. But like I said, in real time, you're going to see that it doesn't take but just 3-4 minutes, and that glue block is ready to turn this plate. Now granted, this is not a heavy blank, but the centrifugal forces on this blank are pretty significant, just like on anything else. And so I wanted to show that it doesn't take just a heap lot, and that CA is a good method of gluing a block on. I've had some people say, "Oh, you have to use wood glue and paper, or wood glue and cardboard, or this, that, and the other." No. CA is right there. It's handy. This is kind of why I have the medium thick CA glue. Here I'm going ahead and putting it into the chuck, and I won't bring the tailstock up. You'll see it hangs there just fine. I think out of I said 15 or 16 plates that I did with this method, I had one glue block that came loose, and that was because the board had a little bit of a wave. The surface of the board waved just a little bit right in the center where that glue block was. Did not come completely loose, just enough for me to know that there was a problem. And so I stopped the lathe. I was able to pull the glue block off. I did a little hand sanding, glued it back on, and everything worked fine. No problems. Now I am going to apologize. The first couple of cuts while I'm working on these corners is off camera just a bit, so you really can't see what I'm doing. You'll hear it. You'll see the corners going away. In fact, they go away quite quickly. That's where I kind of cut the seam. But up until now, you've seen it without any cuts, without any editing. I'm just seeing the surface there, some possibilities of some things I have to work around. So here we go. I will say that I did take the precaution on all of these blanks where I use this glue block process. I took the precaution and stood out of the line of fire as I turned the lathe on and turned the speed up. Did not want to take the chance on one of those corners coming out and hitting me. So I just made a precaution, or took the precautions. You can see there my corners are gone. I've had no issues whatsoever. Again, looking it over, making sure of what I've got to work around. Going to mark my recess. When I turn this around, it's going to be on a recess. And just like on the glue block, I'm going to make sure I not only size it correctly, but this recess is going to be shaped correctly as well. And that way it does not have to go very deep into the blank at all. So I marked it. Now I'm going to start cutting it with my parting tool. I'm parting it for a couple reasons. One, it gives me a place to start with my bowl gouge here in just a second, but it also it marks my initial depth as well. And so I don't have to worry about that later. I'm going to bring my bowl gouge over and clean that recess out. Two or three passes going toward the center. Then I'm going to have one coming back out to the edge. Then I'm going to bring my 1/2 inch skew in and make a slight dovetail for the jaws to go into. Making as clean a cut as I can so I don't have to sand so much. The part that I couldn't cut very cleanly and well, going toward the outside with my bow gouge just to get that. And like I said, right after this pass right here, I'm going to put that tool away. I'll grab my 1/2 inch skew. We're going to make just a slight dovetail right on the inside of that recess. My jaws have a slight recess on the outside, and so that will just help those jaws grab that much better. So I've completed that. I've done most of the turning here. I've got maybe another pass just to clean up the rim there. So I've got the recess, I've got a foot, I've got that slight bevel there going from foot to the edge. Then sand. I sand from 80 to 220. I've blown it out really good. And now I'm spraying some alcohol on just to clean the surface that much better. That will allow my finishing products here in a minute to do their job without being hampered by dust. Go ahead and hit it the second time. It was so dirty the first time. I just thought the second time I thought that was needed. I don't know if you'll see it or not, but the paper towel comes off pretty red even the second time. The alcohol dries quickly. It might raise the grain just a touch, but it's not bad. This is some sanding sealer. It'll raise the grain just a little bit, but its purpose primarily is to seal the pores of this wood so my finishing products don't sink into the wood. They stay on the surface. They do their job that they're supposed to do. So I sprayed it, turned it about 90 degrees, sprayed again. I'm going to get the edge real good as well. And I'm taking the time to do this at this point because when I turn this around to turn the top side of the plate, I will not be coming back to this side. This will be completely done when I turn it around. So you see there the sanding sealer has dried. I've wiped off the excess, moved it, given the more porous areas a little more. Also, wiping it off helps that sanding sealer to dry. So we've done that. Now we're going to use the Axe abrasive paste. I love the abrasive paste. It picks up at 320 and takes it on up to 1,000 grit or maybe even a little higher. And I put plenty on. I don't slather it on, but I don't skimp on it either. So I put it on, and then I want to rub for a couple of minutes just by hand with the lathe off, just working it like I would some sandpaper in there. The color's already starting to come out in this piece of cedar. It looks so good. And it feels good too. It's smoother and smoother all the time as we go along. But we'll rub this in by hand. Then we'll turn the lathe on relatively slow, 200, 250 RPMs. Just working this in, letting that grit that's in the abrasive paste do its job. And then as it begins to break down, we'll speed the lathe up 50 to 100 RPMs. I'll turn the paper towel. And when I feel like it's done its job, I'll run the speed on up, and we'll just continue to use a clean area of paper towel until the paper towel comes back clean. Once the paper towel is clean, we know that the abrasive paste has done its job, and we've removed as much of the wax and oil that is the carrier for the abrasive. Um, it will have been wiped off and will be ready for the wax. But at this point, we're still running fairly slowly. I'm working using my fingernail with the paper towel, just making sure we get it all out of the, well, first off, we get it into those grooves, and then we get it out of those grooves. Don't want anything left there. Same with the edge of the recess. We want that crease in there. We want to make sure we work it in, but get it all out of that recess. If you'd like to try some Axe products, both the abrasive paste and the wax, as well as the new first step, the tung oil paste, there is a link in my description. That link will give you, there is a discount code there, but that link is the only place you can buy Axe abrasive paste, or Axe wood paste, I should say. They only sell online, direct sales. So feel free, go in there, get that discount code, go to Axe, it's axewoodpaste.com, and they will be glad to get you an order sent right out. It doesn't take very long for them to get it to you. That's a U.S.-based product. It's made right there in Pennsylvania. They mail it out, husband-wife team. They make it, put it in the containers, package it up, send it out so that you can get it as quick as possible. But don't feel bad about using that discount code either. It's a very simple discount code, but it's there in the description as well as the link to get some Axe. I use it on almost every piece that I do. When I don't, I usually wish I had or wish I could. But here we're just working it, continuing to work it, letting that abrasive break down, do its job. Once I bring that paper towel off the piece and it comes back clean, I know it's done, and so I can move on to the wax. At this point, I think I'm still using the point of application on the paper towel, but as I speed it up, I'll move it from that place to a clean area on the paper towel, let it do its job. Like I said, when it comes back clean, I know it's done. The abrasive will have worked its way, broken all the way down. The oil and wax will have been buffed off, and that when you get to that point, you're then ready for the wax. This is a heavy carnauba wax, and it does a great job. It's a pretty stiff wax, but as soon as you start rubbing across that wax in the jar, it loosens up right on the surface. I'm keeping a cloth, just a little small square of cloth in the jar now. So I just rub it around the wax a little bit, put it on the plate, put thin coats on. You can put as many as you want on. In fact, I'll show you here in just a minute. I'm going to wax it, but I'm going to do something else before I flip it around. I typically put it on, then I'll turn the lathe on. Sometimes right around 1,000 RPMs. Use my paper towel and very lightly kind of buff over the surface. And then once I'm satisfied that I've got a good even coat and I've taken off the excess, then I'll start giving it a little pressure, building up a little bit of heat so that the carnauba, which is a very hard wax, kind of melts its way into the wood, giving me as good a finish as possible. All right, Let's take the plate off. I'm not quite ready to turn it around yet, but I'm going to take it off. And I'm going to go ahead and engrave my mark into the bottom. I typically engrave the bottom of my pieces with wood spun round, the month and the year, as well as the type of wood that it is. Now I'm going to put it right back on. And the center of that may look a little dry looking. It is. I've gone back over that after I engraved it. I went back over with some 320 by hand, 240 by hand. And then I'm going to put a little more wax, not only in that center, but I'm going to wax the entire bottom side of this plate. That does a couple of things. One, it just gives me another layer of protection, but also makes that area inside the recess, it just makes it look finished. Where I did the engraving, it raised the grain on the edges just a little bit. Then I sanded it, makes it a little bit dry looking, but now I'm going back in, putting some wax on it. So we'll finish up this wax here. And as soon as it's done, we'll flip it around. There's that glue block. Like I said, I've used this for quite a number of plates already. Here's how easy it is to get off. Whacked it a few times there, didn't come off. So I'll turn it a little bit, whack it again 2 or 3 times, didn't come off. Gonna whack it again. There it goes, boom. Just as easy as that. And you see it leaves a remnant of the glue. That's it. So I'm going to clean off the face of this plate, and then we're going to finish turning the inside like you normally would, trying to kind of follow the curvature of the outside, getting an even thickness from the rim down toward the bottom. I did have a couple little issues on the edge of this blank where bugs had given me a little bit of a fit, but it wasn't a big deal, and I was able to fix those issues without any problem. In fact, I think what I did on this particular one, I simply turned everything that I didn't want away. If there's a bug trail or a little string of rot going through there or whatever, I just turned it away. I believe on this one, that's all I did. Some of them I had to fill a little bit with some CA, but I don't think I did any CA on this particular plate. And then there you see it, sanded, abrasive paste, waxed. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've gotten a little something out of it maybe. If you would do me a favor, if you've not subscribed already, if you'll hit that subscribe button on your way out, hit that notification bell, and they'll let you know every time I put a new video up. Hit the like button. That'll help me tremendously. Also, it helps the algorithm if you will leave a comment in the comment section. That makes so much difference. I'm amazed. So this is Doug, and until we get to meet again, I hope you're able to spin them around.